Am I good to go here? Good afternoon, Gen W. I don't expect you to clap because a lot of you are eating right this moment, as well you should. And I am so happy to be here. This is, I think, my third Gen W, and I would have been here all those other years if I wasn't off working. But here I am wanting to share with you, particularly after the session that just finished with Ian. How many of you were in that session? Yeah, that's so good because it was the first time that I had seen Ian's work. And there's so much that he is talking about regarding AI that I think actually applies to building our inner fitness. Because when he talks about, how do you, or you can't replicate the human part, the inner fitness and us being able to have agency over our internal experience is going to separate us from the machine and make us valuable when it comes to connection, community, and collaboration. So I'm super excited to share with you just a little bit about the roadmap to knowing yourself. All right? I'm Tina Lifford, and I am the CEO and the architect of the Inner Fitness Project. I am frickin' passionate about you knowing yourself. And it comes from me years ago being one of those people, and something tells me you can relate. One of those people that had it all together on the outside, and the stuff that was uncomfortable on the inside, I was really good at either ignoring, running from, or, manhandling it with white knuckles. And that experience was getting in the way of my building a career. The career that I wanted was to be an actress. It was a career that was, a long shot for sure. But I knew that I would not be able to actually step into that possibility in my life without stepping into myself more fully. So we won't be able to do all that goes with inner fitness today, but there are 3 components to building inner fitness. And the first component starts with us beginning to acknowledge and honor the self inside. And so we'll do a little bit of diving into that. The second piece is being able to consciously engage with ourselves, see ourselves differently, see the range of self that lives inside. That we're going to do on the main stage when I close out today's events. And then the third is being able to practice like you exercise your body. Practices strategies that help you honor and see yourself and be in self-agency. Be able to manage your emotions, manage your thoughts, your dreams, your desires, so on and so forth. Good or not? Good or good? All right, fantastic. So as we take this journey, one of the most important things, and I know that this seems sort of, duh, everybody knows that, but our breath really can help us to become more connected to ourselves. And the breath, when you begin to use the breath as your tool and your friend, and you practice the breath and using it as a tool, you'll be able to use your breath in those moments of being triggered or anxiety or, feeling outside of your body and needing to ground yourself. Can you all relate to what I'm talking about? Yeah. We are in the conversation of what it means to be human. And in the conversation of what it means to be human, we all have stresses, anxieties, and triggers, and times when we are outside of ourselves. Can we agree to that? Yeah, so show me your hands if you agree that that is a part of being human, and therefore there's no one on the planet who doesn't experience that, though there are a lot of people who will try to pretend to you that they do not, right? We don't want to be those people. So one of my favorite breathing exercises is called the ocean breath. And has anyone ever heard of the ocean breath? Yeah. So I'm going to ask you to just for a moment stop eating because you might choke. And we don't want anyone dying here at this wonderful conference, okay? And you see how that quiet just happened, right? The ocean breath will help you actually get to that quiet that just happened. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then this is something that you can practice when you leave here. In fact, everything that I share with you on this stage, I invite you to practice it. Practice it so that it becomes a way of being for yourself. And the only way we learn and embody and then can default to is through practice. So the ocean breath is when you take an inhale, closed mouth, inhale and closed mouth, exhale. But you want to actually aim for that noisy inhale and noisy exhale. So it's something like, and when you hear that noisy exhale, it will remind you, or at least it reminds me, of the ocean, the movement of the ocean. So let's do 3 ocean breaths together. You don't have to be concerned about the person next to you. You simply want to make sure that you, and I invite you to close your eyes, and so that your ears become part of the servicing of your breath. And on the count of 3, at your own pace, don't worry about what your neighbor is doing, I invite you to take a noisy inhale, mouth closed, and then an exhale when you're ready, and do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. If you have completed your breaths, open your eyes. Could you hear the ocean? Yeah. Do you feel a little more centered? Was there anyone who didn't experience anything? Okay, good. We got live people in the room. Okay, so centering yourself. When you are in an anxious state, you can use the ocean breath for that. Another thing that we always need in our lives to manage creating the life that we want is an intention, right? And that's not new information, but what might be worth highlighting and underscoring is that when we have an intention, and we state the intention, it helps to guide our actions. It helps to bring us back to center when we find ourselves off. It helps us to know where we are, and it gives us a touch point to come back when we are lost. Make sense? So your intention can be whatever you want it to be. Most people think about intention in terms of goals. I think about intentions as a statement of who I want to be inside, how I want to experience myself inside. If I want to be able to step into a room or any situation with a sense of self, a sense of personal belonging and ownership of myself, that becomes my intention. And then once you have a strong and vibrating intention, something, and I'm going to use this word purposefully, something miraculous happens. You begin to find yourself in situations, or you might turn on the computer and a video will pop up, but you will discover or bump into information that helps you fulfill your intention. So when your intention is strong, you get to use your entire life as a field for mining the things that are going to help you fulfill your intention. Make sense? All right. So I'm going to invite you, again, this eating thing. I am going to share with you an intention that is worth considering for your life. But you're going to have to put your food on the floor for a moment. Don't put it in the chair, because the chair is going to flip up. And I'm going to invite you to stand, because standing for your intention is a powerful thing, right? And because I'm going to put the words to this intention statement on the screen, I usually have you repeat after me. But I think that we can just read it down together, okay? If I hear a cacophony that seems like distorted, then we might do the repeat after me. But I'm thinking we can do it together, all righty? So on the count of three, we're going to start with that first line, I aim to live well and thrive, okay? All righty. 1, 2, 3. I aim to live well and thrive, and I set the intention to get courageously curious about my life, to see what needs to be seen in my life. I aim to live well and thrive, and I set the intention to heal what needs to be healed in my life, to stand inside myself with my arms stretched wide, turn around 360 degrees, and not bump into any you-know-what. I aim to live well and thrive, and I set the intention to have fun, to shine, and to show up for myself and my life 1,000%. I aim to live well and thrive, and to love myself so much that I can love you. I aim to live well and thrive. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, be seated. Did you feel that? And what felt good about it? Anybody? What felt good about it? Speak up for me. Yes, it was empowering. It talked about who we are and what we can do and who we can become. And all of the aspirations are doable, and it's what we want, right? And what we have to begin to do is to value ourselves enough to actually nurture the parts of ourselves that need this kind of strengthening so that we can take it into our lives, take it into our relationships, take it into our jobs, careers, etc. Make sense? So that allows me to define inner fitness. This is more words than I really need, but I'm going to share these words. Inner fitness is the practice of skills and mindset management that support healthcare, self-care, emotional intelligence, and self-agency. It's really self-awareness. It's really self-awareness and developing a trusted relationship with yourself that says you honor the self inside of you. Most of us, when we think about ourselves, we look at that image in the mirror and we say that's who we are. But the truth is, we are the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs that run inside of us. And those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, they drive our actions and reactions. So you have seen plenty of people that have amazing bodies, beautiful people, but inside, those people could be crumbling under stress and feelings of unworthiness, right? Have we all looked good on the outside and been in trouble on the inside, right? I'm the only one. Thank you. And so the starting point for inner fitness is for you, when you leave here, for the rest of your life, to make room inside of yourself that honors you. And you may not, there may be times when the overwhelm of some past story, the disconnection or some loss will have you feeling disconnected from yourself. But the one thing you can do always is simply state aloud, how can I use this moment to honor myself? And even if you don't have an immediate answer, what happens is that you've just vocalized to a listening universe, to your subconscious, that you matter. Do you see that? Telling yourself you matter, regardless of the circumstances, and in the moments of greatest dis-ease, allows you to come back to yourself, allows you to be conscious so that you are more available to take care of yourself. Does that make sense? Thank you. Okay, so I said that inner fitness ultimately is an experience of self-awareness. And so I invite you to read down these judgments, these statements. And you're going to do a quick little assessment, right? And you're going to tell yourself the truth, because you don't have to really share it with anyone else. And the only way to move to where you want to be is to know where you are, right? And so on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being 10 being highest and 1 being almost non-existent, I ask you to just rate yourself regarding each one of those statements. And as you do so, identify the one that you think is the most important. If you're still assessing, raise your hand so that I'll know. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're good? Okay. So I said that inner fitness is basically, at the bottom line, a self-awareness journey, right? And which one of these, just, 2 or 3 people, which one do you feel is the most important statement on this list? Say it again. K, E, A. A, E, K, is that what I'm hearing? I'm a little hard of hearing, so y'all have to speak up. Right? A, E, K. A is I judged myself. Everybody does that. And in my main stage talk, you'll understand why. Everyone does that. A, E, I invest time in understanding myself. Oh, that's really good. That's really necessary. K, I am willing to develop a better, more loving and trusting relationship with myself. That's mine. I believe that that's the most important, because it doesn't matter where we are in our relationship with ourselves. As long as we are willing to have a better relationship with ourselves, we will. That's the magic of an intention. The moment you say, I want, then there's an energy that galvanizes, that helps you move towards what you want. And if you want yourself, I can't imagine anything more exciting than to want myself. Then you will, again, you'll turn on the television or open your computer, you'll pick up a book, you'll bump into someone, you'll find information that helps you expand your relationship with yourself. And it will be as automatic as you taking the time to actually state, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of being triggered, to reach for yourself. I want to be more than this. I want to figure out how to move beyond this. I want to do this better the next time it comes around. Good or good? Good or good? See, I'm forcing you to agree with me. But I don't want to force you to agree with me. I want you to agree with yourself, but loudly, so that I know that we are communicating. Okay, so here's what we all should be told over and over and over again. And I believe that our society is going to move in this direction, but until it does, let's make sure that we are saying to ourselves, change these yous to I's, okay? And let's read this down. 1, 2, 3. I am so much more than my small idea of myself, or the place or space I am in, or the people I know can imagine, or even the possibilities that await me. Is that true? Is it true? It's true, but we don't always believe it. It's true, but we have been taught to step over ourselves and not connect to the truth of who we are. And that is the work of inner fitness. When you have a truth, it is our responsibility to begin to practice, exercise, explore, as is, the topic for this year's Generation W. Explore how you can bring more of that truth into your life. It is okay for you to not necessarily feel this way, because our society and, depending upon the circumstances of your youth, the household you grew up in, there's a lot that gets in the way of us believing the truth. But it doesn't change the truth, right? Okay, so in the time that we have together, how can we begin to self-care, to teach ourselves, to connect with ourselves more? One of the best, really simple tools is called the observer's chair. Does anyone know what the observer's chair is? I'm going to tell you. So I actually am an actress by day, and by life, I am an inner fitness enthusiast, coach, and architect. The observer's chair is like that director's chair. When you go to a set, they have director's chair for the actors and for the DP and all of the people of importance to the project. We sit in these director's chair, and usually the chair is about this high, and you just sit in it, and it puts you above sort of the heads of all of the people. And you want to start sitting in your director's chair as you go through your life. If you sit in your director's chair the way you sit at a movie theater and you watch yourself in action, what will happen is that you will begin to see things that you can't see when you're down in it. So a part of you decides that as you go into this meeting, as you go into this family conversation, as you are experiencing stress and tension, a part of you is just going to sit above you and watch. And when you do that, you wind up having the same experience you have in a movie. When you know enough of the landscape, you know enough of what's going on, that oh my goodness gracious, if he keeps doing that, that person is going to come through the door and there's going to be hell to pay, right? You can begin to see your patterns in action. And when you can see something, you actually have the agency to impact it. You have the ability to change it. But you can't change what you can't see. So sitting in your observer's chair gives you the opportunity to begin to see yourself. And when you see it, you don't default to those statements that, wind up judging yourself or thinking you're not good enough. You go to K and you get curious about how you can begin to impact what you are finally seeing. To be able to see something that you haven't been able to see most of your life, is that an accomplishment? Huh? Huh? Yes. Why? Why is that an accomplishment? Say it. One more time. I should have had a mic runner. Self-awareness. And what you can see, you can what? What you can see, you can change. And now you have a goal. And now you can set an intention so that you can change that thing, so that you can understand it more. All right. So, oh my word. So, this is crazy. Give me a minute, because this has gone to the wrong. Somebody sing. Well, I can't tell you how intrigued I am right this moment. And I might just have to do this without. Okay. Okay, so the PowerPoint has gone. It is gone. No, it has gone away.
Which one do you want?
So it actually is gone, Lisa. But that's okay. That's okay. Jen W. No, that's it. That's it. Something. Okay, so something crazy has happened. It's okay. It's okay. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah. It's okay. Don't pay attention to the screen until I ask you to. Okay. We're going to figure this out. So here's a really great place for us to say. I invite you to think about something that has troubled you or been one of those, those triggering places, that thing that you stumble over way too often. I invite you to think about that thing for just a second. And then on the count of 3, let's say I am more than this. Right? 1, 2, 3. I am more than this. That's an action you can take every single time you find yourself in dis-ease. It may not fix the dis-ease in the moment, but what it will do is remind you of the truth. And when truth meets up with dis-ease, a little bit of space is made inside of us. A little bit of space. And when that little bit of space is made, what happens is the truth of us expands. So, when you are feeling not good enough, I am more than this, right? When you are feeling overwhelmed, when you are feeling like the world is moving forward without you, when you are feeling caught by the triggers of the past, that's your assignment and the way that you can begin to take care of yourself. I have to tell you that in this moment, I am more than this. And I actually think that it's a beautiful opportunity to exemplify what we must do. Because in a world where things are supposed to go a certain way, where things are supposed to look a certain way, and we are dressing ourselves up and judging ourselves based upon those ideas, in order for us to stand in ourselves and to experience the self inside expanding, It means that when we meet these moments, instead of defaulting, and on the main stage I'll be talking about that, instead of defaulting to the worry, doubt, and fear, and the scrambling, and the not good enough, and jumping to conclusions, and bracing for rejection, we step into that little bit of space that expands who we are, and we can say, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I will tell you that I'm more than a lot of things. I am not more than time, though I bend time often. So I need someone to tell me where we are on time so that, Okay. We have 8 minutes, is that what I heard? So it becomes challenging when you are a facilitator who can't hear. Thank you. And the universe shows up. Thank you. So, in this 5 minutes, I think that I'd love to entertain any resistance or questions that you might have about what I've shared. Any thoughts about what it means to honor self, regardless of the circumstances. What it means to say yes to self, regardless of how you are feeling or your own self-judgment. And I think that this is a great opportunity to practice what they just spoke about during Lisa's session, where she was moderating with Ian, and I'm sorry, I don't remember and Pat, right, Patrick, where he talked about the small C of courage. The small C of courage says that you take that deep breath and you say, I am more than any resistance inside of you. And then you ask the question. You put your voice in the room. So, can we do that? So, I'd love to have your feedback, your questions, anything that you might want. Please.
So I had a brain bleed, and I am struggling with trusting myself because I lost so much of myself.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
That this beautiful woman, what's your name?
Lynn.
Lynn has said that she is struggling, and you actually said that you were struggling because you had a brain.
Aneurysm.
Yeah, see, we always give ourselves a reason for struggling, right? Yours is you had an aneurysm, and that's a real thing, right? But all of these other people, you know, I would dare to say most of them have not had a brain aneurysm, right? And do you struggle with knowing yourself or trusting yourself or hanging on to yourself? Has nothing to do with the brain aneurysm. What it has to do with is our orientation to ourselves that constantly has us feeling that there's a reason why we can't, and then you fill in the blank. You hear that? Because if everyone else in this room can relate to that statement, then the brain aneurysm, which is real, just winds up being yet another thing. And on the main stage, I'm going to be talking about the surviving self that lives inside of us. And just in a nutshell, there's a part of us that wants everything to stay exactly the way it has been. Because that's where we're comfortable. And it doesn't matter if that comfort is uncomfortable, right? It doesn't matter if that place that we are used to creates unhappiness. We are used to it. And existentially, it is safer for us because we know it. So when you default to not being good enough or fear or resistance, it's a part of you that has blocked out the I am more part of you in its effort to just keep you safe by keeping you where you have been. Does that make sense? Yes. I want to hear that yes in a way that resonates. Yes! Yes! Anyone else? Please. Please.
So a couple of your items resonated with me, and I'm wondering your techniques, I guess, for getting past, like, one of them was making others more important than yourself, but without feeling selfish in your desires.
Yeah, that's such a good one, and I would guess that 90% of the people in this room have that experience. So how do we make ourselves a priority without feeling selfish, right? Okay. I'm going to talk about this on the main stage too. So you think that you are here to be someone's mother, friend, wife, employee, employer, right? We all have been given externalized ideas of who we are and what we are here to do. But Joseph Campbell says that our ultimate goal, our ultimate aim in life is to match our nature with nature. Our nature with nature. And there's a lot that we don't know about this universe, but we know this. We know that it is built to expand and grow. That is our call to action, to expand and grow. So if you decide that you are here on purpose, in alignment with a much bigger, intelligent agenda, then how can taking care of yourself be selfish if it allows you to be better in every other area of your life? Because if you tell yourself the truth, there's a lot of unattractive, unhealed lies that you walk around with that were probably handed to you and shaping what you do or don't do. If you don't look at that, then you pass that on to the people that you are prioritizing over yourself. Somebody said right. Everybody say right. Right? So you prioritizing not your ego, but your commitment to expanding so that you wind up being a place where every single person that you love and the ones that you don't know can be in front of you and have permission to be more of who they are. Good or good? One more. Okay, in the back, but you're going to have to, what? That's exciting. That's exciting. And I really don't have a whole lot more to say after that, right? Our job, our opportunity to what is possible for our lives is to get out of the way of our habitual thinking that has been formed from lies and misconceptions and ignorance. Move away from that self with love and step into space that allows you to discover or explore. Everyone say explore. Explore who you truly are. Thank you. Stand up, everybody. And please repeat after me. No matter how it has been up until now. From this point forward, it can change for the better. Go love yourselves. So